Hello, everyone. I'm the co-founder and CTO here at Instabug, and today I'm going to talk to you about measuring and monitoring your mobile app performance and how you could do more than just the basics. Before we get into that, let me just give you a quick brief about Instabug. So at Instabug, we work with more than 25,000 companies to improve their mobile app performance and stability. And so far, our SDK runs on more than 2.7 billion devices. But we've been growing that number over the years by introducing new products. So back in 2016 is when we launched our bug reporting product. Afterwards, we added crash reporting in 2017. In 2019, we added in-app surveys, and in 2020, we added application performance monitoring. And this year, we're introducing 3 new products: session replay, app store rating, and release management. When we think of our platform, the products that we have been adding to our platform, we've been adding them as reactions to changes that we're seeing in the mobile platform landscape. So when you look at this market, during the last 10 years or so, you will see that there was a lot of changes when it comes to users, developers, and mobile teams. So starting with users and users' expectations, user expectations changed dramatically during the past several years. So while it would have been okay with your users to be using an app that is a bit slow or that has a lot of spinners all over the app, now users' expectations are much higher. They are expecting an app to be super slick, super snappy, and to be very fast. And same when it comes to the app stability. So while your users might have been okay with some crashes in the app as long as the main functionality is working, now there is an 80% chance that users are going to uninstall the app if they encounter the crash during the first session that they are using your app in. So generally, there is a very low tolerance for performance and stability issues, and that's why we needed to make sure that we're tracking all of the user experience within the app. And same when it comes to developers. So while it would have been okay to test everything in the wild, in production, now there are a lot of companies that are shifting left with doing a lot of the testing in their CI pipelines. Or they are shifting right and they are doing a lot of the testing in the wild, but with enough controls to make sure that nothing breaks in production. However, when it gets to the mobile teams, and when you look at how mobile teams are working together, you will see that not many things has changed. So when it comes to team KPIs, it has always been the main KPI that mobile teams are optimizing for is crash-free rate. So while that has been the case previously, it is unfortunately still the case. Many of the companies right now are still using crash-free rate as their main indicator of the app health. And we think that this needs to change, and this is what I would like to talk to you about today. I don't think that there is anything wrong about crash-free rates. It is a very important KPI, and it's a very important indicator of how your mobile app is performing. However, it doesn't give you the full picture. It doesn't give you the full experience of what the user is experiencing within the app. So it is very rare that that today, whenever you're using any of the apps on your phone, the app is crashing. However, you probably have some feedback about the apps that you're using. There are apps that are slow, and there are apps that are not as responsive as others. And the way that we think about this is that we split the user experience into quantitative and qualitative metrics. So when it comes to quantitative metrics, there are the basic stuff like crashes, non-fatals, ANRs, and OMs. However, there are other things that you need to look at when it comes to your mobile app performance. Things like app launch. So the app launches, it's definitely very important because it is the first impression that your users are getting while using the app. It is the time that whenever you're sending any push notifications, it is the time that they take to start to actually interact with the app. So that's why it's very important, and mobile app stores are focusing a lot on app launch as an indicator of the health of the app. And it isn't only the first screen, it is the subsequent screens as well. So making sure that you're measuring the time to interactive for every screen that you have within your app, and making sure that all of the screen transitions are smooth, and none of the screens are causing those weird loading states while your users are using them. And even within a specific screen, making sure that there isn't any app hangs. So there are the ANRs, which is a bit extreme. This is when the app is not responding for 5 seconds, but there are less severe app hangs, when the app is not responding for like several seconds. One final thing that we recently launched and we've seen a lot of customers getting a lot of insights from is user terminations. And this is like a very common behavior. So like whenever you're using an app and like it is misbehaving, like the most common user behavior that you do is that you would force kill the app and relaunch it. This is like a very common behavior for users who are using mobile apps. However, this is something that like not every company is tracking. And that's something that like once they start to see on our dashboard, they start to notice that like actually there was a lot of things that were broken that we were not aware of. So this completes the picture of like all of the quantitative metrics that you need to look at when it comes to your mobile app performance. And same thing with qualitative metrics. So other than like the regular stuff like support tickets or like NPS or like customer complaints, there are other things that you need to look at as well. Things like in-app feedback, for example, which is like giving the users ability to give you feedback from within the app and making sure that like it's easy for them to reach you instead of having to go to the app store. And this is specifically very useful for dog fooding and beta testing builds. And performance surveys. So like making sure that like you're proactively asking your users for their feedback, whether like within the app experience or like after completing a specific transaction within your app. But still, like your users are still going to go to the app store and they are going to give like to leave their feedback in there. And that's why like that's one thing that we're adding this year, which is like being able to see the app store ratings alongside with like the other performance and stability metrics within your app. And this is very useful because like you'll be able to correlate like the performance of your app with the app store rating, which is like what drives the business. And the beauty of having all of that in a single dashboard is that you will be able to get a full session replay for all of those metrics, and including app store ratings. So for example, like when like you won't get ambiguous app store ratings of like users complaining, you'll be able to easily, because it is all in one dashboard, you'll be able to easily see the session that the user had before the time that they reported that app store rating. So you'll be able to go through like all of the details that was happening before that review or before that crash or before any of the indicators that we were just talking about. And like it is a full session replay as well as all of the logs that you would need. So including network logs, including console logs, and including all of the user events that happened within the session. And again, this completes the view that you have for the qualitative metrics that you need to be measuring within your app. The problem now though is that like instead of having one metric that you were tracking, you now have like 15 different metrics. And you need to keep track of all of those. And it becomes very hard to set like to track all of them, and let alone like being able to set targets for each one of them. And that's why we encapsulate all of that into a single metric, which is what we're calling the AppDex score. And like the way that you could use that AppDex score is that it is a single number that measures, that basically ingests all of the data, all of the metrics that we were just talking about earlier, and it gives you a single score that you can track for your app over time. And you could see that like for the whole app, so you could see like how is the app performance overall, but you could also see that broken down into specific teams. And the way that we identify teams is that it is either by screens or by packages or file names, so you'll be able to see a breakdown of that AppDex for every team that you have within your company. So you'll be able to monitor that this AppDex score and like the app health over time, and you'll be able to see it like across versions. So you'll be able to compare like between the previous version and this version, and you'll be able to see if there is like an increase in app ratings, and at the same time there was an increase in your AppDex score. So you'll be able to correlate all of that, and you'll be able to see all of this across the different releases. And since you'll be able to have all of that in a single dashboard, you can control your rollouts from the same dashboard as well. So for example, like if you're starting to see like a specific release that is seeing like a bad AppDex score, you'll be able to pause that release. Or for example, if you're seeing that like a specific release is performing really well, you'll be able to roll it out faster than previously. And like you could also set up rules for automating all of that. So you could set up a rule that automatically stops the release of any of a new build whenever it is hitting a specific number of crashes or performance issues that you're seeing from the field. And like the fact that like the beauty of having all of that in a single dashboard is that you will be able to manage all of the bills that you have using all of the metrics that we're tracking for you. That's it for me. And I can, we probably have some time for a couple of questions. But if you'd like to see a demo of any of the things that we showed you today, please come and see us at the booth downstairs. Thank you.